today's question is, what book shook you outside of any scriptures that you are studying? So David and myself, Barb, are going to discuss this because we were just discussing it offline, and I think it's a big question for us. So I will start with mine, and it's called The Shack. And I cannot for the life of me remember who the author is off the top of my head, but I have like 4 copies of it. But what got me to read The Shack, it was just really an innocent thing. Somebody goes, "Oh, you should read this." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I picked it up, and I didn't pick it up. And then I ended up getting cancer, back in the day. And I was like, well, I had time to kill at the hospital. So I started reading it in the lobby and when I was doing treatment. And man, it shook me to my knees. And I was telling David earlier, what I did was I went back, I read it through the first time, then I went back, highlighted my favorite part, and then I changed the character's name to my name, like instead of talking to the character, talking to me, and it was a conversation with God or the universe or whatever you wanted to do, and read it back, had somebody read it back to me, and man, it just shook my world. And I still have quotes that I read almost at least monthly from that book.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? It's so funny that you bring up this book because it was 2007 when the book came out. The author is William Young, and
Thank you.
I remember reading this and thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is so outrageous. This is going to cause such an uproar because of how they're describing who God is and who Jesus is and who the Holy Spirit is, and is there 3? Is there 1? There were so many things." So I loved it. I was really into theology at the time, so it spoke to me on a completely different level.
What I liked about that book also, speaking about how the description of God, and I don't want to give it away, but it took the sting out for me for the word God and what my belief structure was around that word. And it really just opened. That's when I said it kind of tumbled my wall against the title of God, and it did make my heart softer toward that preference.
Yeah, I had personally, I had a lot of offenses in my life, and what I didn't realize is one of my offenses was with God. And after watching this, I did become softer. I felt like maybe just the most broken part of me felt like it was just beginning to be mended.
Right, and it's bringing something up because somebody commented on one of the memes that I posted this week and said, "What is this becoming a religious page?" Because I use the word God, and I just have to giggle to myself because I can totally understand that perspective if you haven't been exposed to a different understanding of what God is, and when you put God in a box, it makes your world kind of small in that area. So I just chuckle. I don't really usually respond to those because I don't like to have text wars, and I don't need to prove anything because they didn't ask me a question. They just made a statement, so I didn't feel like it needed another statement back. I will give you a clue. If you do ask a question, I will answer it. But if you make a statement and think I'm going to argue back with you, just let you know that there will be no response.
Yeah. So tell me, just when you read this book, we kind of know where you were at. What was the most powerful takeaway for you at that time, and how's that changed over all these years?
So my favorite quote in that book, and I don't know if I can do it verbatim, but it starts off, if anything matters, or if anything matters, then you matter. And then it goes on, and I put it up like every couple months because that quote, if anything matters, then if you matter, then everything matters, or something along those lines. It's one of my favorite quotes from that book. That's the one that just kind of I went, oh, well, if anything matters, and I'm anything. I even if I have the lowest self-worth, lowest moment of my life, I'm still here being part of everything. Yeah. And so I matter. And when I kind of got that, it kind of took that story from me in the sense of proving that I had to matter in order to be loved, because it's like, you could be the warmest of warmest person, warmy person, not good, and you still matter. Your impact might be different than somebody who is more open emotionally, or aware, but you still matter. Your existence counts. And I don't know if this was from the book or not, but this is the analogy I had was, when we think of the sun is your belief structure of God or universe or whatever it might be, and it has all these rays coming off, all the rays coming to the earth. And if you take one ray away, it's less bright. Even we may not notice it, but it's still less bright. And you are a sunbeam, and in order to make the life brighter, you're needed. Your contribution to the light is needed.
Oh, that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Well, I found the quote that you're looking for, so I'd like to
Oh, good.
and then maybe what we can do is, why don't we invite some people to share in the comments if they've read the book or if they've watched the movie.
Right.
What was the most positive impact for them?
Right. That would be awesome to know.
And just like I'm sticking with positive because you can pick out something negative anywhere you look too.
Of
But
course.
let's pick out something that is really amazing and that marked you. Let me read this quote and then we can sign off.
Okay, perfect.
If anything matters, then everything matters because you are important. Everything you do is important. Every time you forgive, the universe changes. Every time you reach out and touch a heart or a life, the world changes. With every kindness and every service, seen or unseen, my purposes are accomplished and nothing will be the same again.
Like I'm tearing up. I love that.
That's a lot. That is a
But
lot.
isn't it? I mean, it's just, if soak that in. I read it every day for years because I wanted to believe it, and then I believed it, and now I know it.
Yeah, it's really lovely. Well, I really appreciate you sharing such a deep and powerful memory, and I'm really encouraged to go to the comments and see what people say. So, as always, thank you, Barb, for sharing so openly, and we'll chat to you again.
Okay, peace out.